What's up, everybody? It's Trey Smith with College Game Time, back with another College Game Time YouTube video. I'm going to go ahead and say this to start. This will probably be my last video discussing media deal stuff until news breaks of the Pac-12's media deal, because I'm over it. We're getting real close to football season. We've got more media days lining up next week. I just feel like there's more football-esque stuff to discuss now, or there will be in the coming weeks. And so as it pertains, unless something specifically comes out about the Pac-12's deal, this is it. But got to talk about this. I wasn't going to make this video. I've exchanged some messages with Jim Williams, who was the first person I saw bring the news that I'm about to share. It's old now, but that I'm about to, I should say, discuss to the Twitter sphere. But as you all know by now, the CW has gotten rights to secondary ACC, CW being the TV network, has gotten rights to secondary ACC football and basketball games. And as Jim Williams said in his tweet yesterday, these are games that used to air on Fox Sports Nets and Bally Sports. I exchanged some messages with Jim on this because I was curious, does this mean the Pac is out now? Because the CW was linked to them as one of the linear components to go with the streaming. And I think the knee-jerk reaction for a lot of people is, well, if they, including myself, if the ACC is entering a deal with the CW, then that means the Pac-12 must be out. And it kind of takes on, well, hold on. I have three perspectives on this I'm going to share, and then I want to hear yours or get yours down in the comments. But I did ask Jim, does this mean the CW is out on any Pac-12 negotiations? And he said it would seem that way. If the CW was involved in the Pac-12 rights, then they would not have added the ACC package. Is it possible that they could still be talking? Sure, but unlikely. And then he talked about what ION, another network, may offer to counter CW, thinking maybe they're in the mix with the Pac-12, if I'm understanding that correctly. I don't want to put words in Jim's mouth, but basically based off our kind of back and forth, I mean, he's not saying anything is set in stone. He was just saying, based on his perspective, who he's talked to, and just his own experience in that world, this ACC deal with the CW would lead to be able to make the conclusion that the Pac-12 and CW don't have anything actively on the table. So let's discuss this for a second. Okay, I think there's three perspectives we can walk away with, or at least from my vantage point, as far as how the ACC and CW deal sort of impacts a conference like the Pac-12 and really the landscape of media rights. So the first one is the ACC beat the Pac-12 to the punch. And that was the first knee-jerk reaction I had. Oh my gosh, did the Pac-12 just get beat to the punch again? Yormark wasted no time when he took over, jumped right in, got a deal, got an extension done, which, whether you want to admit it or not, depending on what side of this fence you're on watching this video, that did put the Pac-12's negotiations in a very tough spot. Yormark getting his deal, getting the Big 12's deal extended. So did that happen again? Did the ACC slide in with one of the linear providers that was on the table for the Pac-12 and get a deal? Maybe. That's one perspective. The other perspective is the Pac was never in any negotiations with the CW to begin with. Or if they were, those negotiations have long ended and the CW moved on to the ACC as sort of their next candidate to get into the college football space. Which I had someone else comment on the Pac-12 side on my Twitter. They said that, in fact, I'll read it to you directly because they mentioned that since 2022, the Pac-12 has not been, let's see. It was right there. Unless I passed it. If I don't find it here in the next couple seconds, I'll just keep it moving. Oh, here we go. No. I can't find it. Oh, here you go. There is a Pac-12 media member, does not mention who it is, that has reported the CW and the Pac-12 haven't had conversations since 2022. If there's anyone on here that can verify or not verify that, put it down in the comments. And he reported at least a month ago, maybe more, or reported that at least a month ago. I think I know who they're referring to. And if they're referring to who I think they're referring to, it's someone who has been a master at manipulating the narrative of this media deal in favor of the Pac-12 this whole time. I don't know if that's the person, so I'm not going to say the person's name, and they didn't list who it was. But allegedly, there's a Pac-12 media member saying that the Pac and CW have not had any discussions since 2022, and he reported that within the last month. Okay. So that's the second perspective. So we got one perspective, the ACC beat the Pac to the punch, which then further sort of stifles Pac's negotiation to get a deal done. The second option is that the Pac either was never, I don't think they were never in negotiations, but that the Pac is no longer in negotiations with the CW, that both parties have moved on. And then the third option is that the CW would look to add both. They've got the ACC, and then they would look to add the Pac, whatever games to get into that after, Pac-10, Pac-12 after dark time slots. Now, based off, again, I don't want to put words in Jim Williams' mouth, but based off my messaging with him, he doesn't get the vibe that that's the case either. He doesn't think that if the CW had the Pac and there was some serious smoke there, he doesn't think they would have gone after the ACC. But like he said, it doesn't mean it's impossible. He just says it's not likely. I'm curious, what do you think? Obviously, from my vantage point, this does impact the Pac, even if it's just from a perception standpoint. And sometimes perception is enough to influence leverage behind the scenes, if that makes sense. Sometimes that public, that's out there, unless this is a deal where it's been known behind the scenes that the Pac-12 is no longer in negotiations with the CW. But you got to think if the Pac behind the scenes has been trying to pit two parties against each other, because you got to think they're desperate for any leverage they can get at this point. So say, for example, they've been trying to pit ION or ION and CW against each other. This deal, I would think, significantly hurts their ability to do that behind the scenes. I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Most of you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Only the people that are in the rooms know. And of course, the people that are in the rooms on the Pac side are continuing to put out the same narrative. Oh, it's going to be fine. We're going to keep everything together. And they might. They very well might. But I'm just curious to see how much this partnership between the ACC and CW is going to impact what's happening behind the scenes with the Pac. Think that's it for today. This was a quick one. Just let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. I mean, I'm naive to think that this, at least yesterday when the news broke, the reason why I didn't rush to make a video was because I kind of thought maybe we would get some news on the Pac side, either shortly after or sometime today. I mean, I know that's crazy, but I thought maybe that was like a domino that now that it's been brought to the public, maybe now we're going to see the Pac-12's media details finally put out there. But then there's also that option of, do they have something? Like, do they have something right now? Like a full concrete deal that they're just crossing T's, dotting I's, or are they still a lot further along than what some of us might think? I don't know. I think as it pertains to the Big 12, Arizona and Colorado, but like I said in the reaction video I did to what Yormark said at Big 12 Media Days, man, I feel like Yormark's locked in on UConn right now. And I know it's a polarizing, that is a polarizing statement, because there are fans on UConn's side, as I've said, who are split about joining the Big 12. And then there's fans on the Big 12 side who are split about UConn joining the conference. But let me digress. Let me know your thoughts on the CW situation, them and the ACC striking a deal. How does that impact what's happening with the Pac behind closed doors? Is it impacting anything at all? Has this been known behind closed doors that the Pac was no longer in negotiations with the CW? Y'all tell me. Till next time, Trey Smith for College Game Time.